Yo, yo, yo. What it do? What it do, people? Sorry for the delay on that. Just trying to get all the posts on the socials. But yeah, we are live. Welcome to episode 28 of Bear Down Breakdown. Um, Joining us today, we don't have Bruce today, but we got our boy Dom. Shout out to John for joining. Your signature introduction. If you don't watch us live, you're missing out on that, by the way. So if
Big time.
you if if you don't tune in live, you probably should because it's a great sight to see. I will admit. Um, but yeah, welcome everybody. If you are watching live, which we appreciate very much, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube if you aren't already. If you are subscribed, thank you. If you're not, hit the like button. That helps us out a lot with our videos and live streams. If you're listening on the audio portion, we'd appreciate any kind of rating. Well, not any kind of rating. We appreciate a 5-star rating, right? Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, do that.
I think it's only
Please.
fair. A 5-star rating, and leave a review as well. If you would whisper sweet nothings to us, we'd appreciate it. Yeah, Bear Down Breakdown, episode 28. Bears lose to the Vikings. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, have a lot to talk about, and I feel like it's a lot of the same conversation, but got a little bit louder since Justin went down with an injury. It makes things a little bit more complicated, and uh, yeah. But before we get into any of that, I have to ask my boy Dom, as I do with Bruce and anybody else who joins the podcast. Before we talk sports, we like to just check in, see how we're doing, because there is life outside of sports. So, Dom, how you doing, bro?
To quote Bruce himself, life be lifing. Right? Uh,
I hear
yeah,
that.
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Just
Surviving.
doing good. Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear. Glad to see that you woke up this morning and that you're here and you're present. And that's all. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm doing all right. I in the process of moving, and it's moving sucks.
Oh,
It just
terrible. I
I
hate
don't
it.
care if you're moving down the street or moving out of state. It sucks regardless. But it's going to be a fresh start for me and my family, and so it's very exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
congratulations. That it
thank
oh, it is exciting.
thank you. Yeah, we're thinking about prolonging this process, but something happened to where it made sense to do it within a couple months. So yeah, so we're going through that. Moving is like I said, just anyone who's experienced it. If you've stayed in the same place for your whole life, you are blessed. Um, so be thankful that you have the pleasure of doing that. But yeah, moving is not fun. Um, but yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for us. So we're excited. Um, Shout out to my family who I'm moving by, and I hope you guys are watching. But you know who you are, and we'll be seeing y'all very soon. Um, but anyway, let's talk some Bears. And shout out to our guy Alex, who's been listening to our podcast since day one. I'm talking about before Bear Down Breakdown. He's a day one, Alex Rentas. But he said as soon as we dropped it off, or as soon as we popped off the episode, he said, "All I need to do is watch the Bears to know I need more God in my life." And yeah, that's I can't argue against that, to be completely honest. But um, oh, look at that! I got a text
Got
from Bruce.
a late addition?
Yeah, he texts the group chat, the podcast group chat, asking if he can hop on. So
Of course.
give me 1 second, and I'm gonna send him the link. He originally said that he couldn't hop on. But while I do this, Dom, give me your thoughts on this Bears loss.
Oh boy. So it was one of those things that was evident from the first play, obviously. I mean, Justin had a free rusher, hit him right in, right in the number one in the back. But it was one of those things. And I heard this too. This was super interesting. They kind of likened Justin and this offense entirely to a starting pitcher, where it's like, within the first batter, you get 3-4 balls in a row and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Or you would get that like Jake Arrieta 2015, where it's just, this dude's unhittable and we know this is going to be like a shutout. I feel like the Bears offense, and Justin in particular, is that way. And I think that was the mid podcast, so I want to give them their credit. It made so much sense to me because it was that way. It was evident from the first drive of the Denver game and the Washington game that this offense was moving differently. This was a different look. I don't know what it was, but from the first drive, it was obvious that they had reverted back to their old ways. I didn't like the play calling. I hate Justin holding onto the ball. But I saw some clips today. Again, I don't want to apologize because I'm starting to get there with Justin, but I saw Cody Whitehair and I forget who it was, maybe Nate Davis before he went out,
Literally Davis, yeah,
literally blocking each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's you don't draw it up that way. I thought for the first time, though, in a while at least, not the first time, but I thought the defense played a decent game. We ran the ball really well, and for whatever reason, kind of got away from it there at the end, inexplicably. So there were positives, I guess, but the negatives are so loud now at this point. They kind of seem, too little, too late.
Yeah, I thought that very first play was just a microcosm of the whole day for the offense. It's funny because you had a mini bye. You had 10 days to prepare for this game, and it just seems like the more time you give this coaching staff to prepare for a game, the worse they are. But it was the same thing with Matt Nagy, so here we go again. But it just, from the get-go, that very first play where Justin got sacked, it's just like he talked about it during the week about how they need to prepare for the Vikings and the pressure that they bring. Vance Joseph, he's a blitzing defensive coordinator. They blitzed on 72% of their defensive snaps against us in this game.
Crazy.
And you still, in the very first play of the game, can't recognize that they're bringing more pressure than you are blocking. And he held onto the ball, got smacked. And that's a part of Justin's game that I don't know why it's not growing. I don't know why he can't recognize pressure. He's never been able to do it since his rookie year. And I don't expect rookies to know how to do it, but this is your third year, bro. Like, this is your third year. That's a part of the game that I think is it's like what do you call it? Like it's just a core piece to being a quarterback.
A prerequisite.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, because I've heard it a couple different ways, like, is it the chicken or the egg? And it seems like this is a question that we're doomed to ask for eternity in Chicago. Is it the offensive line? I've heard people say, oh, no, it's on the center to call protection. And then I've heard people be like, no, it's on the quarterback. And I don't know, it's unfortunate that if Justin hasn't gotten proper coaching, I don't think Mitch got proper coaching, and I don't think Justin has either. But I know, even for me, if I were, and I know Justin's a proud guy, and I would seek out the coaching myself and be like, okay, these clowns aren't teaching me. How do I learn how to pick out this protection? Like, there's got to, in 3 years, like, man, sometimes I feel like I see him do it. And then other times it's like, in that instance, you had to see, you can only block a certain amount. You have a quarterback. You have one less player to account or to block. So somebody, when they show 6 at the line like that, you have to see this guy is coming unblocked.
Yeah.
Is it, what is it? Is it a chicken or the egg thing? Is it the center? Is it him? Is it, I don't know.
I think Justin is just so much in his head where he's trying to process so much pre-snap. Is it zone? Is it man? Where are the playmakers on the opposite defensive end? Like, where am I going to go with the ball? I think he's just thinking so much. He's so much in his head right now. And the play where he got hurt, he had DJ Moore on that deep in route. DJ Moore sat in the zone. They gave that end zone look where it was very obvious that DJ Moore sat in that zone perfectly and he was wide open. Now, it took a little bit, and it probably would have taken an anticipatory throw because Justin was under pressure, but still, it's his 3rd year. You have to hit that, man. Your pockets aren't going to be clean every single snap like they were against Washington. It's just every game is not going to be like that. So some days you have to just take a hit, sit in the pocket, take a hit, throw, just let it rip. Just let it rip, man. And Justin wasn't the only problem in this game. Obviously, Luke Getsy, you spoke on. Hold on, let me get our boy Bruce in the show. What up, B?
Never would have made it.
What up, player?
What's up, man? I came in at the right time. Eli, I heard you use the word implicitory. Something you said. That was a big word. I was like, well, we getting deep today. Implicitory throw.
Anticipatory.
Anticipatory.
Oh, anticipatory. Yeah.
Oh, anticipation-atory. It's good as skin. What up, fellas?
Spell it.
What up?
Spell that word.
Right. A Tory.
But yeah, as I was saying, Justin seemed to revert back to his old self in the first 3 games where he just didn't want to rip the ball when he could have. The protection problems were really bad. Dom, you spoke on the play that's going viral on Bears Twitter where Cody Whitehair and Nate Davis block each other somehow. Don't know how that happens. And then Luke Getsy with the play calling. Yeah, the running game early on, I think it was their 2nd drive where they had Dante Foreman was carving up that defense, and you did not call one play action. Play action boot something. You didn't call one of them in either of those drives when we were driving down the field running the ball. You have an absolute weapon who's, by the way, really good at throwing on the run in Justin Fields. And in the 2 games that he had against Denver and Washington, a lot of his big throws were on the run. So I don't understand. It was a 3-headed monster, just like we got right now, except the bad version of it, where it was Justin not playing well. It was the offensive line being just absolutely trash, and Luke Getsy not knowing what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
So
and no adjustment.
Bruce, what are your thoughts on this game, bro?
Yeah, the inconsistency of the team as a whole is just it's kind of sickening. The offensive line, they were bad. They were really bad. We don't have a center.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Can we talk about why did Ryan Post trade for Dan Feeney? Why did he do that? Because you had Cody Whitehair who was snapping the ball just everywhere. It was like a spray bottle. Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was like going to pee when you're drunk. You guys know that experience?
Or
sometimes you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't drink, but no, I'm just playing.
Bruce is a saint.
No, So can I ask the question, right? Talking about the center, still on that. So the Cody Whitehair experiment at center. I don't know which radio station I heard this, but they say since Cody Whitehair has been here, right? I guess the John Fox era, they tried to use Cody Whitehair at center. He was terrible. They removed him. Nagy comes in. He says, "Oh, I can fix it," and so they put Whitehair at center again. He was terrible. They moved him again
to guard. Yeah.
So we're gonna try this one more time. Nobody within the organization said, "Hey, we've done this twice and it never worked. So let's just go ahead and." Eberflus being the coaching genius that he is, he can definitely fix him and make him no. And to your point, why did they trade for who they traded for and not use him? But then we're gonna go back to Patrick. Yeah. And then when asked why he removed Cody Whitehair, Eberflus said because we needed an experienced center with Tyson Bagent. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but with Tyson Bagent under center, we needed an experienced center. But Cody Whitehair has more games under center than Patrick. Cody Whitehair was trash.
I think what he meant was that Tyson Bagent has been taking snaps with Cody or with Lucas Patrick in practice, so he's more familiar with Lucas Patrick in the way he snaps. But either way, when
he was pressed on it, he backtracked and said the more recently experienced. And I think because in this season, it's still bullshit. I'm sorry, it's still trash. I hate that he won't just say, "Yeah, you know what? Cody was snapping it over Justin."
He cannot keep players accountable, man. What the hell? He refuses.
So is it? Go ahead, Dom. I'm sorry.
No, so I just don't get why. And Nagy was the same way. I don't know if it's a George McCaskey thing, like if it's a Bears thing, where it's like, no, we don't do that here. And I know Cody's like a senior guy. He's a veteran, like a team leader, whatever.
Yeah.
But even more reason to say, you know what? We were at a point in the game where we couldn't afford another bad snap. So I told him to take a seat. Next week, maybe, we'll revisit it. But at that time, we were making a change at quarterback. We couldn't afford another snap over his head. So
we all understand like the NFL is a grown man league, right? And I get the whole players coach. We've seen that throughout, every sports. They have those type of coaches, the player coaches. But that doesn't mean that you can't hold these grown men who getting paid millions and millions of dollars responsible. You're not going to hurt their feelings by coming out and saying, you know what, Cody Whitehair just didn't have it today, or he's just been bad. Like we all see it as fans, and what we see how bad he's been. So, but to protect him, what are you protecting? You're not. He was bad. He was terrible.
Feelings.
He's been terrible.
They're protecting feelings.
On, man, stop it. You're 1-5.
This all started. And shout out to Waddle and Sylvie, because Sylvie, who covers the Bears now, he pointed this out in a preseason game. They introduced, because you know how they would sometimes introduce each starter, right? They'll bring out the offensive line and the wide receivers and then the quarterbacks, and they'll like kind of like in basketball, they'll announce the starters before the game starts. Well, in the preseason, they announced 12 starters. 12. And the one guy they didn't want to leave out was Chase Claypool, because they announced 3 wide receivers instead of just 2.
And we see how that worked out.
And that's where I was like, yeah, this dude he wants to be everybody's friend. He's the dad who doesn't want to be a dad. He wants to be the friend.
And I'm going to safely, not to switch subjects, still talking about the offense, specifically now the quarterback. I know you guys probably talk about Justin Fields, but where are we at? Because I missed that portion.
We haven't even gone there yet. We're just talking about the game.
Right. Just the game
what
itself.
Happened.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten into
Shout out to our defense. We have
to give credit where credit is due. And the defense has looked significantly better
Yeah.
since Eberflus has taken over play calling. I
Yeah.
have to admit that.
They've gotten healthy. Yeah. So that's huge.
and it helps. And listen, even when they weren't healthy, they played decently against Washington.
Yeah,
When
they
all
did.
those DBs were down.
True.
So
That's starting
I
to be a concern for anyone else, though. The health of all the guys that Poles has drafted.
Yeah, I was saying that live during the game because it just seemed like somebody had something in like every 5 plays or something like that. Somebody went to the sideline for something.
Brisker and Stevenson in particular, and Kyler. I mean, him too. But it just
Eddie Jackson's is a glass vase at this point.
It seems like he's, in his swan song here, but and he's a previous regime's guy, but it's like everybody that Poles has drafted on the defense in the defensive backfield, they're like always hurt.
I know this is a question we probably can ask. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
I'm just not confident Brisker can finish a game. That's all,
Yeah, and for his playing style, it's a problem because he's a guy who likes to, hit hard and celebrate after. So yeah,
whatever this is. He does a weird.
Yeah, some very questionable celebrations. I don't get it.
He's not that good. He's not that good to have a trademark celebration. I'm sorry. Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe other players are doing it throughout football, whatever. But you can't celebrate Brisker. Stop it. The team aren't you guys at a point? The team, they just annoy me now. Like they just
100%.
They just annoy me. Just like everybody at Justin Field, everybody just annoys. I watched that game and I was just like, come on, guys, this is the Vikings. Why aren't we? And I drunk the Kool-Aid because I was that guy that was like, oh man, we beat Washington and if we get to Minnesota and we beat them, oh, here we 2-4. Then we got the Raiders coming in and then we beat 3-4.
I don't blame you. We held the Vikings to 19 points. You hold the team to 19 points, you should win. Like,
yeah,
that it was just a complete inept offensive day, and like to go from scoring 40 to 13 is
against
that's a big
Vikings. Against that defense was so. I've watched a couple of Vikings games and nothing stood out. I mean, I know they're a blitzing type defense, but you mean to tell me that you didn't prepare for that? You had 10 days. Brian Flores, 12. I'm sorry, Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator. His story.
Yeah.
He's been doing this. He's
Justin
a blitzing type defensive coordinator. Yeah, man. Like
Justin talked about it the week before the game.
First play of the game. You couldn't check. You didn't, and a sack, you take and that's the stuff that's just annoying me. Like these are, and just the way our offensive line played, and I was just like, it's annoying now. It's annoying. I'm so ready for this season to be over with, and unfortunately, we still have just a ton of games.
More games.
It's gonna be a slog.
Yeah.
But that kind of defense, that blitz heavy type defense, that is exactly what will confuse. I want to say young quarterback, but man, he's in his 3rd year. Like it's kind of what we going back to. Like,
there should be no confusion anymore
at this point
with Justin. Like I understand a play or two where he's like confused and they did a good job disguising coverage. I can understand that, but all game.
There's never a time, and this was the same way with Mitch, and it's a very sobering realization to be having it with Justin too, where I never felt like he was the one outsmarting people. It's like if there was success, it was like, holy shit, he did it. Like he executed the play. Like, and it was never him that was like, man, he just outsmarted them there. Like he saw something that they didn't, and he just did it himself. Justin's not capable of that either. He's his athleticism and his strength can overpower you sometimes, but when it comes to and I think Brian Flores is a really intelligent defensive mind. When it comes to an intelligent defense, I know that they're kind of bereft of talent a little bit, but the way he was sending it was clearly like too much for Justin, and he just couldn't do it. And Mitch would have been the same way, just deer in the headlights. And I wanted Justin to be different, and I'm just starting to come to the realization that, man, maybe not.
Yeah, and
It
I said
was-
Vance Joseph was their defensive coordinator earlier. I meant Brian Flores. My bad.
Yeah.
But go
No,
ahead.
I
It's
didn't
all
even catch
good.
that.
they, we all look alike, so it's straight. Like, I understand.
That was not it. That was not it. Don't put that on me, bro.
No, man. I think the frustrating thing about that game, Dom, is like you said, just the inability of Justin Fields to just to be what we want him to be. And it's not to be this pocket quarterback. I'm not looking for him to be a Peyton Manning type. Use your skills, use what makes you great, use that as a a plus, an addition to what the passing game in the NFL is key. Like the running quarterback like that. I look at some of the top quarterbacks who can run, right? Like Lamar Jackson. I watched that game earlier. They played in London, I think, against the Titans, and I watched him. And his running game is now just an asset to him being a passer now. Lamar Jackson has come a long way, and that's what we wanted Justin Fields to be. And I just look at him now, and I look at this game in particular against Minnesota, and it was just things that I'm like, where's the disconnect? At first I was the first to be on board with you, Ian, was just like, okay, it's coaching. It's coaching. We're not putting him in a position. And I'm not saying Gatsby called the best game, right? He could have done better as an offensive coordinator. But at what point do we win games because of Justin Fields? And that consistency isn't there. And look, I'm not saying Tyson Bagent, I think his Bagent, that's his last name. Bagent, I'm sorry. I'm not saying he is the savior. I'm not saying he's better than Justin Fields. I'm not saying that. But when he came in, the way he got the ball out of his hands, knowing the blitz was coming, knowing how just piss poor our offensive line was, the way he was able to get the ball out of his hands quickly, how come I didn't see that with Justin Fields? Again, to you Justin Fields fanatics and protectors, I am not saying that Bagent is better than Fields. We know that's not the case. But he was doing things that this offense required, especially that game Sunday. And he didn't come in and light Minnesota on fire. But you saw a little bit of hope where you was like, okay, that's what that's supposed to look like. That quick, when the blitz is coming to quickly get the ball, that's what that's supposed to look like. How come I didn't see that with Justin Fields? The defense didn't change. The scheme didn't change. It was Flores blitz from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. Nothing changed. Why couldn't Justin Fields process the same way Bagent did? And that's the frustrating part. Why are we still discussing this year 3, game 5, or whatever? Why are we still discussing the same thing with Justin Fields?
Yeah.
And that's the frustration. That's why I'm so annoyed.
And I was talking a little bit earlier about the play that he got hurt, because it was a play that he shouldn't have even got hit. Because
exactly.
he had DJ Moore that came on that in sit route right in the middle of the zone, and there's just something about the middle of the field that Justin does not like. I don't know what it is. He loves to throw to the sideline. He loves throwing out routes. He loves throwing go balls, but anything towards the middle, I don't know if he's just scared of throwing a pick or what it is, but he has absolutely no faith that he can throw the ball in the middle, because I have yet to see him consistently take advantage of what the defense gives him in the middle of the field. And we never see it.
Guys, tell me if I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, he didn't even have to get injured. He did not have to get injured. If he just would have ripped the freaking ball to DJ Moore, he would not have had to escape the pocket and get hit. And
the ball
that's what's frustrating to me.
On that play, you can't hold the ball that long in under any circumstance. Like it's just no. And now he started doing this thing where once he starts getting sacked, then he throws the ball. And, that's probably what led to it.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably getting, coached to be like, yo, you got to take less sacks. So he's like, oh, I'm about to get sacked. Let me just toss this ball somewhere. Hope it lands on the ground. I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, we look at our last two quarterbacks that we've had, right? That we've hung our hats on. We looked at Trubisky. Now we look at Justin Fields. From the neck down, it's everything that you want in a quarterback, right? Great arm, size, speed. I mean, the physical tools are there, but what is it from the neck up, the mental aspect of the game that is that coaching? Is that the player himself? Is it a combination of the two? Like, why are we, we now have the position. We've gone through two top quarterbacks, two top draft picks and quarterbacks,
highly scouted,
scouted, come from great programs. So what is it? What is that? Are we cursed? Are we cursed as an organization? Do we need to move to Arlington Heights to get
your sister Tina cursed us? Think she?
It could be, but they struggling too. Justin, Jordan Love he's put him in that same boat too. So whatever. Yeah, but what is it? What is it? I want to hear you guys what do you guys think it is at this point?
It's how the organization is run. I think that the constant belief from one regime to the next. So it starts at the top. And I think you've had guys calling the shots and hiring people for decades now that don't know what they're doing or don't really care. So it's more so of a front. They're always worried about the PR. It's never really about the football. And I think when you continuously hire coaches with minimal experience, they clearly have a type. Like, let's be real here. They have a type when it comes to coaches. And when you keep having the regimes bleed over to the next, and now it's a thing in Chicago. Like, we've been called the quarterback graveyard. We've been called where quarterbacks go to die, kind of same thing, but still. And that the Mitch situation really, I think, amplified it, because you had the opportunity for Patrick Mahomes, and instead you got this guy named Mitch Trubisky. It doesn't even sound like a starting quarterback. So I think a lot of people, it amplified it there. But I think that added pressure from decades and decades and decades of not having a quarterback has gotten the fan base and the media really rabid. And then you tie that in with the constant bleed over from one regime to the next, and it just creates this swirl of dysfunction. So when you get a young kid in there, now we're at the stage in the NFL where you have to be successful right now. There is no more sitting, waiting for a year. Like, we don't do that here. It's go out there now and be great now. And they said in both instances, with Mitch and with Justin, they didn't want to start them right away. What happened with both of them? They both started right away, and they were terrible. And I think it's just an amalgamation of all of that. When you combine all that stuff put together is now on the shoulders of this young kid as soon as he gets in there, and he gets peppered. And it's almost like this media joke, a Bears quarterback. Like, as soon as there is a guy out there, okay, this is who they're trotting out. This is the next guy. Let's tear him down. It's just, there's so many different things, not to mention George has given you a shit coach to teach you the NFL. Like,
that's where it starts for me. Oh, sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can finish. It's organizational. It's that you are hiring people that don't know how to develop quarterbacks. You're hiring GMs that don't know how to develop quarterbacks. You're hiring GMs that don't know how to hire coaches that develop quarterbacks. It's literally trickling down. You're hiring GMs that don't know how to prioritize. Hey, let's build up this offensive line. Hey, let's go out and do what it takes to get a Stephon Diggs. Let's go out and do what it takes to get AJ Brown. Like, if we didn't have the number 1 overall pick, do we have DJ Moore? Probably not. So we're looking at Darnell Mooney yet again as the number 1 receiver. So we had the luck of getting the number 1 overall pick, which gave us DJ Moore, but we had to get the number 1 overall pick to get DJ Moore.
It'd be bad. Really bad.
What did Philly like? Philly got AJ Brown. Did they have the number 1 overall pick? No. Like, same with Buffalo and getting Stephon. It's these guys walking into situations where they are not prioritized and they are not they're surrounded with people who don't know how to build them up for success. I think Bruce left. Hold on, let me fix this. And yeah, it's a great question that Bruce asked. I'll see what's going on with B. But yeah, I think these guys are just, Mitch went through a regime change after his first year. Like, what do you, not complete regime, but he went through a coaching change. Justin Fields went through a complete regime change after his rookie year. Jay Cutler had how many offensive coordinators?
8 or 9.
And then you tell Jay Cutler, like, hey, your offensive line is shoddy, and oh, by the way, Devin Hester is your number 1 wide receiver. Cool. Yeah, it's just a bunch of dudes who have no idea what the hell they're doing with the quarterback. Here's B. You good, Bruce?
Yeah, man, I got a LeBron James update, and then somehow, some way, I got kicked out. So I'll let you figure that out, Eli.
That's a microcosm of LeBron's career, right?
I guess
letting people down.
Oh,
You're getting it. Wouldn't happen. I'm just saying.
Ouch.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's a really good question, Bruce, and it's so nuanced and it's so complex and complicated, and I just think ownership is not going to change. That's obvious. You have your president, who's going to be here for hopefully a long time, in Kevin Moore.
Mm-hmm.
You have a GM in Ryan Poles, who's only been here for 2 years. Guys, they're not going to fire the GM. I know a lot of people are like, oh, fire Ryan Poles. What has he done good? And his free agents suck. And they're not going to fire him after 2 years. You cannot fire a GM after 2 years. That's right. That doesn't make sense to me. You can agree with what he does and whatever. I don't agree with everything Ryan Poles has done. He has made obviously the Claypool trade was terrible. His free agents are spotty. He's not getting fired.
Been kind of bad, if we're being totally honest.
No,
and I agree. He's not getting fired, but like,
no, yeah. I'm not saying what Ryan Poles has done has been, like, great. I mean, he's had some good moves. He's had some bad moves.
And we also got to understand, Justin Fields wasn't Ryan Poles' choice.
Exactly.
That wasn't his guy either, which is so, ass backwards when it comes to the Bears organization. That just explains what you was just saying, Eve, with just the organization as a whole. They just do things that makes no sense at all.
And now that you have those two guys here, it is a good chance to clean slate with your coaching staff and with a quarterback. Now that you have those two guys here to set a foundation, even though Ryan Poles has kind of already started his foundation with his second year in his rebuild. But I think just everything this core organization has done, and we've said this so many times, is just so ass backwards. Hiring, basically interviewing Coach Eberflus before you hired Ryan Poles, and then you hire Ryan Poles, and then you give him 3 guys that you think are the best candidates for head coach, which he only has 3 options. He picks Matt Eberflus. Then you fight Ted Phillips leaves, and you get Kevin Warren is just so backwards that I don't know. I think you run it back with Ryan Poles because, like I said, you can't fire a GM after 2 years. You have Kevin Warren. Let those two guys, only those two guys,
Make the
interview who
decision.
they want for
Yeah.
head coaching candidates.
Yeah.
Don't let
But is
George McCaskey in the room. Don't
Yeah.
bring in Bill Polian.
Please don't. Please don't.
Don't bring in anyone else. Just let those two guys sit in a room and hire
Yeah.
the head coach.
I'm not trying to kill off Bill Polian. I'll never wish death on anybody, but you know, he's at that age where it's just like, man, just go enjoy like fishing or something. We don't need you as
That dude, I never want to see him again. I never want to
Yeah.
hear Bill Polian's voice ever
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Panthers schedule. That the Bears versus Panthers might just be the Panthers' only hope to get a win, right? And yeah, I mean, if you look at their schedule, it's yeah, they got a bye week, then they got the Texans, they got the Colts, then it's the Bears, but then they got the Cowboys, the Bucks, the Saints, the Packers, whatever, right? There is a great chance that the Bears get that number 1 pick. Looking at this Panthers schedule, the Panthers outside of the Bears may not win a game this year. They could literally go 1-16. The Bears get that number 1 pick. Everyone is talking about Caleb Williams. That, you know, some say he's that once in a generational type quarterback. There's a fear. And I'm just being honest as a Bears fan now, there is a legit fear that, yeah, he may be that once in a generational type quarterback, but can he be that for this organization? I just don't trust him.
He seems to know his worth, and he seems to be like, look, I'm not going just anywhere. That's kind of the vibe I've gotten from him, where he's like, look, I'm that dude. Like, I'm not going. If it's not going to suit me, I'm not going there. And I think if there is one dumpster fire that he's not willing to jump into, it very well could be the Bears. And people are like, oh no, he won't do that. He won't turn down Chicago. I think he might.
Yeah.
Like this has been just nothing but like a quarterback massacre over the years.
Yeah.
And unless he had some sort of say, like if the Bears are so desperate and they talk to him and his dad, because his dad has been the one making these comments, and they give him like certain assurances or that a certain coach will be hired. I don't know that you do that with a rookie coming in, you know, like that doesn't seem to be good business either. But man, if you want to get a generational quarterback, like, would it not be the most Bears thing ever for this dude to come in, him turn the Bears down, him go be a superstar, and us still be stuck in this mess? Like, could there be a more Bears situation? I don't believe so.
Yeah, I am not one to think that. I'm one of those people who doesn't think that unless it's a really bad situation, like say the Arizona Cardinals, like somewhere like just that has absolutely no direction, then I think Caleb Williams can, or he will turn it down. But if it's Chicago, if it's the Bears, I don't think he will, just because that number 1 overall pick money, you see what Justin Fields has been able to build in terms of his own brand here in Chicago. Like Justin has done nothing in this league, and somehow he has so many endorsements. It's insane. So I don't think he will.
He's so marketable. He could have been the guy.
He is super marketable. He got so much swagger, and I think Caleb Williams is on that same level. He's on that same swaggy type level.
Justin's very stoic and like very like sullen and serious, and it was not. He'll talk, you know, and that's I love that. You know, I've been missing it because Mitch wouldn't say a word, and you know, Jay
I think.
You know, so
I think Bruce said it earlier. It's probably a Bears PR thing where they just don't want you to talk. But anyway, I do
robotic. All his answers were so like, and I am the quarterback of the Bears. Like, shut up, trash.
Yeah, I think it's a Bears thing. I think they literally coach you up PR wise. When
Yeah.
you walk in that building, like, this is what you say, this is what you don't say, this is your mannerisms. These are, yeah, it's
Then, like we were,
weird.
they dropped that. That's got to go. Like you need
Yeah.
the last time they allowed it was Ditka, and hey, that's the last time we won anything. So it's like, oh yeah, you don't do what, winning, because like that, it's
yeah,
so
it's overplayed. It's dumb. It's outdated. It's, I mean, every adjective you can give it. It's stupid. But I do think Caleb Williams comes out even if the Bears do have the number 1 overall pick, and I do think the Bears take Caleb Williams if they have the number 1 overall pick. There's a part of me that if Justin does come back miraculously and plays well throughout the season for the rest of the time that for the rest of the games that he has, do you entertain Bruce? Because you're the college football guy. You watch a lot of, I'm sure most of us have watched a lot of Caleb Williams. I'm not a college football guy, but I've watched a lot of Caleb Williams just because I want to see what the hype is all about. But if Justin comes back, plays well, do you entertain keeping him for another year and getting a just massive haul for that number 1 overall pick?
No, you can't. I'm sorry. I've been on the Caleb Williams. I've been on his bandwagon since he was at Oklahoma, and seeing him last year. Well, seeing him at Oklahoma. Man, who did he replace at Oklahoma? He replaced a quarterback that's, I think. What'd you say, Don?
Jalen Hurts, wasn't it?
Okay, could have been Jalen Hurts, but it was anyway. Regardless, he's been that dude, right? And then he goes to USC, and last year wins the Heisman, and even this year, like, throw away the Notre Dame game. Notre Dame was, that's my team. I was rooting for them, but they were so inspired. They needed to win. They played just all out. Great game by Notre Dame. Throw that game out. I look at Caleb Williams' body of work. I look at his skill set. I look at just everything that he does. It's hard for me, and I don't say this about a lot of quarterbacks, man. Like I've seen a lot come into the NFL. A lot of hype around certain quarterbacks, but it's just something about this dude where I just feel like if you pass on him, you will regret, just like we did Patrick Mahomes. And so if that's the case, I'm looking at it, well, how come we can't then be in a position where we can trade Justin Fields? You may not get a first round pick for him, but is it too ridiculous to think we can't get a second or a third? I mean, Justin Fields still has the skills, but is he just, and I don't want to say is he damaged goods, but is he damaged mentally because of what he had to experience with this organization? So maybe going somewhere else and giving him a fresh start. Maybe he then go and ball out in Atlanta or wherever an organization needs a quarterback, and you can get a second, maybe a third round pick for Justin Fields. I wouldn't pass up on Caleb Williams. Just Caleb Williams. I know there's a plethora of great quarterbacks that's coming out next year. Got May from North Carolina, got the kid up in Washington. You got JJ McCarthy in Michigan. You got a just kid down in Texas. It's so many good quarterbacks that's coming out, but Caleb Williams is that dude that you just, they come around every so often, and you just don't pass up on that.
Does his size bother you at all?
No, not at all. Patrick Mahomes is not. He's 6'1".
Caleb Williams is 6'1".
Yeah. His size doesn't that doesn't bother me at all. I just look at his intangibles. I look at he can make every throw. He can escape the pocket. He can run. But he's a passer. He's a passer first. And that's the thing that sticks out to me is just watching him make every throw at just is ridiculous. His arm is different. And Justin Fields has an amazing arm, But Caleb Williams, if you watch him throw the ball, it's just certain dudes that you could just sit and watch. Even in the NFL, right? Like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Herbert. I was watching him last night, and just the way they throw the ball is just different from everybody else. I put
For
Caleb
me, it's
Williams
his.
in that same boat.
For me, it's his. It's just quick release. Like
Yeah,
that dude, that
Yeah,
ball gets
that's
out of his hands so
yeah,
quick,
yeah.
Justin's got
and
Yep.
a cannon, but his
his
release
release.
is like this long, weird,
Yeah,
like
And it's slow, so
and
slow, man.
not only
Yeah,
his release is slow, but his processing slow, so it makes his
yeah,
release even slower. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
it's a big reason why Justin. I think, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest reasons why he can't succeed as well as other quarterbacks in the league is his release and his processing because it makes everything so slow. But Paul asked, what do we need to do to set him up for success if we do draft him? I'm assuming he's talking about Caleb Williams. In my opinion, I think the Bears are in a better position to draft a rookie quarterback, at least better than they were with Justin and better than they were with Mitch. And that's only if we fire Matt Eberflus and bring in a new coaching
yeah.
staff. Because if
You
you try to
will.
bring Caleb in with Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy again, or even if you do fire Luke Getsy, Luke Getsy, and you bring in a new OC, I still don't think that that's a good enough situation for him. But
Yeah,
you have two bookend tackles, something that I don't think Justin had, and damn sure Mitch didn't have. You have a wide receiver who's a stud, and he's locked up for the next 3 years, I think, in DJ Moore. And you have another probably top 5 pick that you could very well use on Marvin Harrison Jr. Bring him in. I think that's a pretty good start for a rookie quarterback. I think it's
yeah,
better than a lot of other rookies in this league. So I think you have to change coaching staff, obviously,
yeah.
and continue to build that offensive line, man. Like
hmm
it's so important to these young QBs that they have time to throw because it just. And listen, I that Notre Dame game was perfect to see what Caleb Williams looks like when he's under pressure. Like that dude was under pressure that whole game,
The whole game. Yeah,
and he was able to make some plays. But you give any quarterback that kind of time, and they can't do their job. They can't.
right.
So I'm just hoping that Matt Eberflus or Ryan Poles does what it needs to take to build that offensive line and defensive line, both of them. Because we've talked about on this podcast, they build from the outside in for whatever reason. Use every asset that you have outside of the 2 top draft picks to build that offensive line. You have money, you have other draft picks, build that
Yeah.
offensive line.
Yep.
do you really think that it's a foregone conclusion that Eberflus is gone? I don't. I think
No.
No.
I think it's well within the realm of possibility that he's still here next year.
Oh
No.
man, Dom, don't
don't.
tell me that, brother.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Because you
Wow.
know how the Bears are, and you know it was like when George had to fire Nagy and he gave a press conference, he like scolded the fans. He did not want to fire Nagy, and he doesn't want to fire Flus. I think it's going to have to be like a complete and utter disaster, like and worse than it already is. And it's something that I mentioned to you, E, that Justin going down could be a job saver for Flus.
I can see
Because
that.
when he gets to the end of the season, he can be like, look, man, my quarterback was out. My defense was all banged up all year. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you can't
Well,
expect,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so I just, and I know how George is. So I just think that, to answer the guy's question, I don't know. It has to be done completely differently. In my opinion, totally. Eberflus should have been gone already, in my opinion. Like, he's clearly not it. I couldn't fathom another year with him, but I know how the Bears are, and I think it's probably more likely that he's here than not.
Yeah, I think if Justin's out for the rest of the year or most of the year, and you lose a bunch of games because you have Tyson Bagent playing quarterback. But his defense continues to improve because that's been the story of the last 2 games. The defense that he has called, especially with getting the guys back, they've played really well since he's been calling the defense. I think that's definitely could save his job.
Bruce, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like, it's exhausting to even consider it, because if you're going to draft Caleb Williams and put him out there with Matt Eberflus as
man.
his coach,
Yeah.
you are asking for him to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
going to happen all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Exactly.
struggle
draft-
again next year, and then
Yeah.
have him be fired, and then you're asking Caleb Williams, whatever quarterback they bring in, or even Justin Fields, whoever, to learn yet another scheme after you fire this coach. Like it's
it's not even about getting an offensive minded coach or getting
No, I
a
don't-
defensive minded coach. I'm so over that. It
I am
doesn't
too.
that doesn't like I don't get excited. Or you bring an offensive guy in here. Oh my God, or you get a defensive guy. Oh, the defense. I don't care about that. I just want somebody that's comparable. I just want somebody that knows how to get the best out of their players. You be a motivator, be a offensive tactician, a defensive tactician. Like just get somebody in here that understands how to be a coach in the NFL. Stop it
Yeah.
with these Matt Eberfluses, these Tressmans, these Nagys. Like John Fox
The
was
nice
so
guys.
over the hill. Like, yeah, stop. Like, can we stop? Just get a coach. Get a coach that knows how to be a NFL coach. That's all I want. That's all I
Same.
want. And you're really going to have to sell me as a diehard Bears fan and that's been following this team as a shorty. You're gonna have to sell me. Why do I need to accept the fact that Matt Eberflus is this coach again next year? You got to tell me something, because it ain't gonna be his record. It ain't gonna be how he developed a quarterback. It's not gonna be you're gonna have to explain to convince me, why is Matt Eberflus still here? Because his defense has improved 6 or 7 games. That's the reason why you bought. That's the reason why you keeping him. Nah. Hello, Houston, Texas. You guys got some room on the bandwagon so I can hop on. I like the Houston Texans, man. I'm becoming a CJ Stroud fan.
CJ Stroud is a stud. I could 100% see him returning now. I could see them using Luke Getsy as a scapegoat.
Exactly.
Luke Getsy and Justin Fields as a scapegoat.
Yep.
And say, hey, if we just bring in another coordinator, bring in a young quarterback who can process faster, I can succeed. Look at my defense. They improved throughout the year. As long as we get this offense rolling, which was the offensive coordinator and quarterback's fault, I can get this team to, a winning record. I could see him trying to sell that.
Hopefully Kevin Warren has the wherewithal
And that's the key.
to say, hey, you know what, though? That's what you did last time, and you allowed Matt Nagy to draft Justin Fields, and that we're not doing this again. So this has been so bad. If you want this to change, they all got to go. All three of them.
That is the key. And that's the question that I asked a couple of weeks ago when we were on that terrible losing streak and everyone's like, fire everyone. Why is Kevin Warren here? What difference in leadership does he bring that's not Ted Phillips? Or is he just another yes man to the McCaskies? If that's the case, then we're just going to be doing this as a revolving door year after year. That's going to be.
I haven't heard.
That's where we're at. But the fact that we haven't heard him speak,
heard from Kevin Warren.
Yeah, we haven't heard him speak, especially after all that stuff with who was our defensive coordinator's name?
Alan Williams.
It was all that stuff with Alan Williams and all that drama. We did not hear from Kevin Warren, which bothered me and kind of scared me into thinking that maybe he's not that new, fresh president that we're bringing in. Maybe it's just a new face, but it's the same old crap. But yeah, that's going to be the key. I think this season is going to tell us a lot about whether Kevin Warren has power in that organization or if he doesn't. And I hope he does. I hope he does. I really do.
This organization, man, it's the last decade has just been, it's been, I don't know. It's hard to be a Bears fan.
Yeah.
You know, after
And
firing Lovie Smith was what, 10-6 when they let him
Mhm.
go. You know,
Yep.
we everybody was a scapegoat. I feel like this organization put the blame on everybody. You know, Lovie didn't do this. Jay Cutler didn't do this. Jay Cutler had, I believe, 6 offensive coordinators in his tenure as a Bears.
something like
6.
that.
Yeah, I think it was
Um,
even more.
Yeah, I think it was like 8.
You know, yeah. And then Pace drafts Mitch Trubisky and moved up to do it. And then we allowed the same regime to draft Justin Fields after messing up with it. And I just feel like, you know, we put the blame on everybody else, but this organization, man, they just, I don't want to say I don't know them personally. So it's hard for me to sit here and say like, oh, they just care about filling seats, right? Because we said that with the Bulls, and you know, that's another team, but that I'm frustrated with. But this Bears organization, I just like, what's missing? Like, and that's when that's that's what I found myself at on Sunday after that game. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this organization doing that as fans, right? As fans, we can see what needs to be done. Is it
Yeah.
that simple? Why? How come they're not getting it? Why is it not clicking with them?
Yeah, I think I don't think that I genuinely think that George McCaskey cares about winning. I do. I cannot say the same for Jerry Reinsdorf. I know we're a Bears podcast. We don't talk about the Bulls or the White Sox or anything. I legitimately think Jerry Reinsdorf does not give a damn about whether his teams win. I don't think that George McCaskey is that kind of owner. I do think he cares. I just think he doesn't know how to. He's literally that clueless kid in the classroom that wants to do good, but just can't keep up with the rest of the class.
And I think he's oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think he's so stuffy and old school, and I think he's so, even more so than winning, he's concerned with PR, and he's so trying to fumble with it and make it right that he messes it up every time. Like, he's
Great
always
point.
worried about the image and how it
Yeah.
appears outwardly.
Yeah.
It just, he's so concerned with it that he does it wrong, and it backfires every time, and it just seems to like he can't get out of his own way. He wants to win because that's a good look. He doesn't like losing because it's a bad look. Like that's all he cares about, in my opinion. Like,
I think he genuinely wants to win the way us fans want to win. Like, I think he's a genuine fan of the Chicago Bears, but that's the problem. He's a fan that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's a fan that doesn't know how to hire the right people. He's a fan that doesn't know how to evaluate anything with running a football team. So you bring in, like, I had no problem with them bringing in an outside source to hire a GM. It's just the fact that they brought in Bill Polian, who's
Yeah.
98
Right.
years old.
Right.
And his idea of really great football was from 1999 and 2000. Like, what are you doing? Bring in a younger, more fresh dude who had success before or after 2010. Like, is that too hard?
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think George McCaskey is just a clueless dude who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And that has just, and Dom, you hit a great point. He just cares way too much about image. He cares way too much about the Bears not being, the drama center of the NFL. Yet we seem to somehow get there every couple of years, every time. Mark Trestman, Matt Nagy, and now Luke Getsy. And it's crazy how you care so much about image and culture and all of this stuff, but it backfires on you. So how about you stop caring about it?
Yeah, when you try and put a lid on everything and you try and contain everything and make everybody march to a certain way and say a certain thing, like you're losing them right there. Like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's like shooting a free throw. It's like shooting a free throw. If you think about you're about to miss this free throw, you're gonna miss.
You're gonna miss it. Yeah,
it happens every time.
Yeah.
So stop thinking about it.
That could work. That could work, Dom, if you're winning, right?
Yeah,
because the New England Patriots, we hear about the Patriot way, right? Once upon a time, and I think Brady had a lot to do with that. Now that we see that Brady's not there, we see the struggles New England is having. But everybody talked about the New England way. You had to be a certain way, but that was because they was winning and they was winning Super Bowls. And you know what I'm saying? So everybody kind of fell under that Bill Belichick. This is how we operate, things of that nature. Unfortunately, McCaskey, you can't, to your point, you can't have this certain type of this is how everybody needs to be when you've sucked. You've sucked. You haven't bought. We keep 85. I think everybody's from 85 is dead or almost there. And I hate to say it that way, but let's stop talking about 85.
And I'm so sick of talking about 19 and like the Bears and the super fans and Ditka. Like I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're all gone. They're all going close to, or they're eating pudding at the old folks' home. Like that's how close. We need to stop. I'm not trying to kill anybody off, but I'm just saying it's getting tiring. Like, can we talk about something fresh?
Yeah.
And we can't. But you want to have this, this is the Chicago Bears way. No, isn't it? We don't have a way. We don't have a way. We're the laughing stock of the NFL.
Yeah.
Us and the Jets. And the Jets almost had it right. And they're doing okay.
I think if they had Aaron Rodgers, they would be damn good.
Yeah, they made it. That's embarrassing that the Chicago Bears are literally the laughing stock of the NFL.
Yeah, that was another video that's been going viral around Bears Twitter is Ryan Poles saying we're going to take the North and never give it back. And that's worked out amazingly.
Yeah,
we have yet to win a division game under this regime. But we're going to take the North and never give it back.
Wow.
That's a very troubling stat. I heard that the other day. That can't be right. Can't be right. And I looked it up. I was like, holy cow, that is right.
Is that right? Yeah. Oh, my God.
We have not beaten a division opponent under this regime yet. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Anything else about this Bears team that you guys want to sound off on?
No, I'm good.
Event.
No. I'm like, and I'm just.
Yeah. Are we just rooting for the tank now? I asked you guys this last week, and we were like, or not last week, a couple weeks ago. We were like, but now we're rooting for it, right? Rooting for that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. I'm kind of
number 2 overall pick.
Yep, I'm there. I hate to say it. I hate it.
We're at Game 7, and that's what we're rooting for. Yeah, like we logically think about this. We're at Game 7.
Oh man,
and we're thinking about tanking already. That's how just this season is done. I ain't got too many years left, man. Like This isn't fun anymore.
My son is at that very influenced age where he wants to watch football with me, but he looks at my face and he sees how pissed off I am. He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go upstairs and
I don't want this."
Watch some Disney Channel.
Oh, just wait till your kid starts telling you, "Dad, why you keep rooting for him?" That's what Jaden tells me now. "Dad, why you keep rooting for him? Why you keep doing this to yourself, Dad?" My son becomes a counselor.
Is Jaden asking for other players' jerseys like Patrick Mahomes and
He
is he
yeah.
asking
So
for those?
Jaden, he's a player like, oh, I like this player. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily the team. It's just this player. And my
right.
son counsels me after a Bears game. He said, "Dad, why you keep doing this to yourself? Dad, you're better than this." Oh, son, I know, but when you've been at it for 30 some years, you just fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
yeah. This is where we're at. Are we hoping for anything good from Tyson Bagent right now? Like, are you
Look,
hoping that he shows us something that he can, be a
yeah,
piece? Maybe not the starter next year, but like,
Yeah, I hope he does well, you know, but no, I
yeah,
don't. I was never on the train of, oh, put him in there, it'll be better. No,
no,
he put the ball down
Bears
the field,
Facebook.
eyes closed, and
Do you guys follow any NFL pages on Facebook?
no.
no.
Because Bears Facebook, and yes, there's a Bears Facebook community. They are
Okay.
in love with Tyson Bagent. Like, we're talking about, obviously, very old school Bears fans, very monsters of the Midway, Dom, that Midwestern accent. They probably sound exactly like that. Those kind of Bears fans, and they are in love. So many of them have Tyson Bagent as their profile picture. Like,
Hmm,
he is
Okay.
hailed as like the next chosen one for
Hmm,
some reason on Bears Facebook.
Okay.
I don't
Bunch of
see it.
old white dudes, basically.
Hmm.
Nope.
I wonder
And
why.
we'll get one half of him next week. Trust me, he's not. He's
Yeah, we've
different,
seen.
and he'll get the ball out quick, whatever. But no, he's not.
Yeah. I mean, you saw in that last deep ball, that game-ending interception,
We've
like,
seen
his
this.
arm strength.
Yeah, no. I never had. I was never on that train. At all.
Yeah. I think Bruce is frozen. But yeah, that'll do it for us.
Yeah.
I think we've had enough.
It's just like waving the white flag, like no more.
Yeah. I don't even know who do we play Vegas, don't we? Next week.
Yeah.
The Raiders. Beautiful.
Mhm.
B, are you there? Can you hear us? I don't think he's there.
I can hear you. I don't think I paid my internet bill, so it's been a struggle. This podcast. I gotta call up Xfinity. Like, hey, did you guys get that check? Did you get that money order I sent you?
Oh man. Oh, it's all good. We got you now. All right. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. We appreciate it. Before we head out though, we're gonna give our Recs of the week, each of us, as we do every episode. So you guys want me to go first? You guys have one this week?
I'm gonna just throw out if for all the sports fans out there, the baseball playoffs, MLB playoffs have been very exciting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had Atlanta going all the way, and I can't, as watching sports for so long. I just I love that team. I love that Atlanta team, and they had such an amazing regular season. And I just knew come playoffs time, like those type of teams, unless you like the Yankees from like the late 90s, early 2000s, those type of dominant teams just don't do well in the playoffs. And I've been shocked. I've been shocked with Arizona, them and Philly. Philly is hot right now. And then you go over to the American League. Texas is it looks like they're on their way to the World Series. It looks like it's going to be Phillies and Texas again. And not to bring another sport into our podcast, but my records, if you're a sports head, go check out what the MLB is doing. And with these playoffs, some really good games. And I'm think I'm gonna roll with Philly, man, because they look like they the hottest team. Them in Texas, so it could be a toss up. But Kyle Schwarber, oh my god!
I was just about to say, shout out to Kyle Schwarber.
Man,
That's why I want the Phillies to win.
Yeah. Him and Nick Castellanos, former Cub. I wish they would have
Mhm.
re-signed him the next season, but whatever. But yeah, man, check out the MLB playoffs, man. That's my rec.
I like it. Dom, what you got?
There is a show that my girl made me watch called Barry on HBO. It's about like a
He said she made him watch it.
It'd be like that.
Yeah,
It
right?
do
It'd
be
be
like and it's about like a hitman who decides he wants to be an actor. Like he
Oh, I heard about that.
watched a couple. I was like, damn it, this is good. Okay, so I recommend.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Barry, okay.
My rec of the week is a video game, and it's for all my gamers out there, because I am a gamer, no shame. Spider-Man 2. It's a very hyped game. You get to play as both regular Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Shout out to Miles, my cousin. And you get to play as both of them at the same time. Because obviously this first Spider-Man was just regular Spider-Man. Then they came out with a Miles Morales game. And now in the Spider-Man 2, you get to play as both of them. I've heard great reviews already. It hasn't dropped yet. It drops this Friday. But if you have a PS5, I don't even know if it's going to be out for PS4. But if you have a PlayStation, go buy that game, even if you didn't play the first one. I heard it's amazing, and I cannot wait. I'm going to be up for 24 hours from Thursday through Friday playing the game, probably. So,
yeah, Jaden already. Yeah, he was like, "Ask." You know what's so funny? He's like, "Ask Eli, did he hear about the new Spider-Man that's coming out?" So,
for real?
yeah, a couple of days ago, he's like, "Ask Eli, did he hear about the new Spider-Man that's coming out?" And that's your record of the week. So I don't know if that's a sign I gotta buy it for him, or you can buy it for him.
Yeah.
Uncle Eli can buy it for him. You know, we'll discuss after the show.
Yeah.
You know, no pressure. No pressure.
I'm unemployed, so I don't know about that. But yeah, it's I'm excited for it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. We had a pretty decent amount of viewers and people commenting on this episode. We really appreciate all you guys tuning in. And like I said, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Every button that you see, just hit it, because it will probably help us a lot. Especially that like button helps us out a lot. If you are listening on the audio version of the podcast, we appreciate you as well. Leave us a review and also a rating, 5-star rating. Only 5 stars, nothing less, because that's what we deserve. Damn it.
No doubt.
We're going through sports depression, so just help us out here. And leave us a review as well. Whisper sweet nothings, as we like to say, to us. And yeah, hopefully we'll talk about how great Tyson Bagent looks against Vegas next week on the You got this face.
Woo! Let's go, Tyson.
Especially Dom's face. Oh my god. But yeah, we unfortunately we're not just going to shut down the podcast because there's nothing to look forward to. But maybe I'll just be here by myself talking about Tyson Bagent. I don't know. If I am, that's fine. I'll hold it down for you guys. But anyway, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll hopefully talk at y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Peace
out.